Hey Scott, Sambucha here over at Sales Qualia, where it's our job to help you ramp up and scale up your sales process. Today, what we're going to talk about is Sales Accelerator number 5. What's a Sales Accelerator first and foremost? So a Sales Accelerator, these are the 9 core systems that every startup needs to build and implement in order to get a repeatable, scalable sales process. All right, so when you think about selling to your prospects, there's all about the prospecting, developing leads and lead generation. There's all of your sales pipeline work. So you got your prospecting, you got your sales pipeline work, demos, objections, proposals, keeping the deal moving. And then the third part of your sales process are your conversions and your paying customers, your implementations, right? So around these 3 core pillars of your sales process are what we call the 9 sales accelerators. And today what we're going to talk about is sales accelerator number 5, what we call prospect partnering. So what exactly is prospect partnering? Well, the way I've always thought about sales is that if you think about the sales process, you start off with, obviously you've got your prospect. Let me get my screen showing here. Give me a second. You start off with your prospect. And where you want to get to, of course, is you want to get a paying customer, right? Money in the bank. New, happy implementation, right? The challenge, of course, is there's a lot of steps in between. And so there's that first part of the sales process that's all around what we call discovery. And discovery, there's a lot of different parts of discovery, right? There's the discovery of leads. You need to find new prospects. There is the discovery of your customer's problem or your prospect's problem. And then ultimately there's the qualification or the discovery of an opportunity, right? And this is a top of funnel activity that a lot of people get jazzed about. And look, like frankly, it's pretty fun. I don't know about you, but I mean, personally, one of my favorite parts about selling is the prospecting part. I love going out and finding people that have problems that we can solve. And then having those conversations, talking about what's possible, how we might be able to help them achieve the outcomes they want to get to, right? Now, the last part of the sales process is really around your implementation, right? That's where, with the implementation, what we're getting to is obviously talking through what is it going to take for us to actually go on board, get our new customers up and running, and successfully using our product. That's when they become paying customers. So this discovery piece is really about, like, let's identify the customer's problem. And let's identify, let's find, let's discover the people, all the buyers that need to be involved. And on the backside of the sales process, in the implementation, it's really looking at what's the payoff here? What's the return on investment? If they go forward and they use our product, they buy our product, how are they going to evaluate what is success, right? What are those numbers? What are those metrics? And then, of course, what is the plan? What is that plan of action when it comes to doing the implementation itself and making sure that they get the outcome that we're promising to them, right? So in between all of that, though, this is where prospect partnering becomes so important. So we look at prospect partnering. This is what, at the end of the day, this is the guts. This is what I call the guts of enterprise sales. This is the unfun part, right? There's nothing more fun than discovering a new prospect, discovering a problem that we can help out, identifying new people, building new relationships, getting through the product demo. Like that's like the fireworks. That's the fun part. And then on the back end, of course, it's like getting to the place where they say yes, right? Let's talk about implementation. Let's talk about how we're going to get you results. But in the middle, that's where prospect partnering comes in. And so really prospect partnering starts with the demo. And so there's this little overlap here that I think about when you're coming out of discovery and going into the guts of the sales process. It really starts with the demo. And in a previous LinkedIn Live, I've talked about demo design. Demo design is sales accelerator number 4. It just precedes this accelerator of prospect partnering, accelerator number 5. And in that part of your sales process, we talked about how demo is not a stage in the sale. In fact, demo should be a short part of your sales process. It should be a catalyst to the rest of the sales process, right? So the reason that I think about demo as the start of prospect partnering is because if we've done the demo the right way and it is a catalyst, it should open up all of the rest of the more difficult parts of the sales process. And so in prospect partnering, what we're really trying to do here, what you really need to do, what you need to execute on, is more or less project management. It's like really unsexy. It's unfun. I remember at one point when I was selling enterprise software, when I was at Blend, selling lending software to some of the largest lenders and mortgage companies in the United States, there was a part of our sales process that took close to 6 months to get through. And in one particular instance, I added up all of the people that I had to speak to from the point of an initial proof of concept all the way through to full implementation. It was over 70 people within an organization that we had to speak with. There was the risk people, the compliance people, the IT people, all of the users, all of the economic buyer, everybody that gets involved with the decision. And the hardest part about this part of the sale is that it's not fun, it's not sexy. But if we don't do it well, then demos are going to be the place where your sales opportunities die. Because everybody on the other side of the table wants to see the product. They're happy to talk about their problems as long as they get to see how you might be able to solve those problems for you. And of course, on our side, from the selling standpoint, like what's more fun than showing off the product that you built? The challenge that we have in the enterprise sale is that after the demo, if we don't have a really clear plan, and a lot of times this is called a mutual action plan. The mutual action plan is also your map. It's literally your map. It's what are all of the stages that you and your prospect need to go through after the demo in order to validate, in order to identify any obstacles, to overcome any objections that they may have, to make sure you're answering all of their questions, to talk through implementation, to talk through pricing, to talk through what happens if it's not working after the first couple of months, right? That mutual action plan is really just project management. And as a seller or as a selling company, it's absolutely critical that we build this mutual action plan. We have this map. And within that map, then we need to know what specifically are the actions that are going to be taken and when, right? Because if you think about the sales process, you know, at the top of the sales process, the problem, it's all about like, what's the problem we're solving? That's the easy question to ask, that we should be able to answer. The people is all about the who. Who's going to get involved with the sale? The payoff on the back end is the why. Why are they going to buy from us? And the plan is all about how. How is this going to work? So the map, the mutual action plan, that sales map that you need to build, the project management that you have to implement, is really kind of a where. Like, where are we in this buying process? Where are we in this journey to go from, hey, the demo looks really great, looks like you can help us, to a point of contract negotiation implementation? And the actions are the when. When is, quite simply, the next step. So coming out of the demo, when do we talk to Joe over in IT and get access to the data files? When can we get a meeting with Sarah in the risk department? Who over in procurement is going to be our main point of contact so we can get through their procurement checklist? What about the compliance team? Do they have any questions about how our platform is going to work under the rules and regulations of your industry, right? And so the first part of the sales process is really, like, that's where there's actually a lot of selling. If there ever was selling in the sales process, it's on the front end, because you're discovering leads, you're identifying opportunities, you're showing how and if you can help that prospect. On the back end, it's all about implementing. And that's where you just get to show your stuff. You get to go to work with your prospect. But it's in the middle that's really tough. That's all about managing the process. It's moving the deal from one step to the next. It's monitoring. Are we on track? Once we sat down with our prospect and partnered with them and said, okay, now that you've seen the demo and you can see how our product can help you solve your problems, we're going to have all of these steps, all of these people, all of these objections, all of these questions, all of these hurdles that we're going to have to overcome internally within your company in order to get from, hey, the business team wants to buy this product and get going to implement it. We have to go from there to answering all of those questions, walking through all of those steps. And so that's why this prospect partnering, it becomes a sales accelerator. Because if you don't have a prospect partnering strategy, what's going to happen is that your deals are going to stall. You're going to lose momentum. You're going to be relying on your prospect to tell you what's next, right? I've said this before. I've repeated this quote from David Sandler many, many times, which is if you don't have a process for selling, you're going to be at the mercy of your buyer's process for buying. And when you're selling a new technology, when you're oftentimes really just selling against status quo, selling against SharePoint and spreadsheets and manual process, or some old outdated technology that's 15 years old, the people that you're dealing with every single day, the people that are suffering from this challenge, from this problem that you're out to solve, they don't know how to buy your stuff. They've never bought a product like yours before. And so it's our job as sellers is to sit down and partner with that prospect and say, okay, now that we've shown you the demo, or even before you get to that stage, hey, once we show you the demo and we see that it's a good fit, here are all the steps that need to be taken in order to make sure that we answer your questions, talk about integrations, go through compliance and risk and data security and all the other landmines that can occur whenever you're dealing with the quagmire of internal bureaucracy. Like, we have to take the lead. And this is really like a key part of this is about control. It's having control of the sale. It's being able to project manage, to go back to the prospect and say, hey, remember after the demo we said we're going to talk to Joe in IT, we're going to talk to Sarah over in the risk department, you're going to get us a meeting with Paul over in procurement, right? Gosh, we said after the demo that those 3 things are going to happen in the next 3 weeks. Looks like we're a little behind schedule. What do we have to do to keep things moving forward? Like, here's the plan we agreed to. So now the plan is doing the work for you. The plan is doing the prodding. It's not you, hey, just checking in, just following up. Did you get a chance to talk to Joe? Instead, it becomes a partnership. Because if your prospect is really serious about solving the problem and they're really serious about evaluating you as the solution to that problem, then they should want to prospect with you. They should want to partner with you, right? So when you're doing lead generation, you're doing customer discovery, you're doing demo, that's us as sellers and them as buyers, and we're showing them what we've got. But after that, if there's mutual agreement that, man, there's something here, you could really help us out, that's when it should move away from buyer and seller to true partnering. And let's treat this like a project. Let's get all of the people that need to be involved. Let's get all the tasks, all the timelines, all the different people that need to get a say, to get a look at this platform, to get a look at this solution, to make sure that we are good to go to move forward into that implementation so they can get the payoff they want and ultimately they can become the paying customer that you want them to be. So that's why I say the prospect partnering is a sales accelerator, because if you have this system built into your sales process, it's going to accelerate your sales. You're not going to be waiting around for the prospect to get back to you. You're not going to be sitting around chasing after deals. Instead, you're going to have a step-by-step action plan that has a timeline, that has all the tasks, that has all the key people, and that's going to allow you to move that deal through your pipeline from demo through to implementation. So, all right, that's it. That's sales accelerator number 5, prospect partnering. It's part of your pipeline pull-through strategy. And so in the next video, in the next LinkedIn Live, what we're going to talk about is momentum maintainers. What happens when you have to keep momentum? What happens when you have those objections? What happens when deals do stall out despite your best efforts to build this action plan with your prospect? But for now, take a good look at your sales process. What happens? Ask yourself, like, what happens after we do the demo? What are the expectations we set up with our prospect before we show the demo? How do we know that our prospects are clear about all the steps that need to be taken? What experience do we have as sellers? Even if we only have a handful of customers now as a startup, you have the beginning of some observations where you can say, okay, so far, if there are 3 or 4 or 10 customers, it seems like we always have to get the risk team involved. It seems like we always have to get an IT person to get us access to the data file. It seems like every time compliance is a question. It seems like the procurement team is going to have that checklist because they're selling to large companies and they have a lot of rules internally about who they can buy from and what the checklist is on the procurement side. So ask yourself those questions, because those questions are going to help you as a seller generate the framework for your mutual action plan, so that as you're going into that demo or coming out of that demo, you can turn to your prospect and say, great, we knew you were going to be excited about how our product's going to help you solve our problem. Here's what we need to do from here. Here are all of the next steps. Lay that action plan out to them. That's going to give you the control that you want. It's going to give you both a lot more clarity in terms of what the next steps are, who needs to get involved. And most importantly, I think it's going to give your prospects a ton of confidence in you, that even though you're a startup and maybe you're competing against the other big companies out there, the other big guys out there, your prospect's going to look at you and say, wow, like this company really has it together. They're really clear about what needs to happen in order for us to evaluate and then ultimately purchase and implement this product. So that's your prospect partnering sales accelerator. All right, that's it for now. If you want some more help with this, or if you want an evaluation, if you want to do a self-assessment of your sales process across these 9 sales accelerators, we ran a training with our clients just a couple of months ago where we walked all of our clients through each of these 9 sales accelerators in really specific detail. And we helped them score their individual sales process across each of these 9 accelerators. It helped them to identify where they have relative strength, where they have some gaps and weaknesses, and ultimately what are the opportunities and where to focus when it comes to building out your repeatable, scalable sales process. So if you want access to that training, you can just type the word accelerator down below in the comment, and what we'll do is I'll send you off a copy of that training with a little mini workbook that you can work through. You can sit down, watch the video, go step by step through each of these 9 sales accelerators, and it'll help you evaluate how you're doing, and specifically around prospect partnering. If this is an area for you that you're getting lots of demos, you're booking lots of demos, maybe lots of people are excited, and those demos are leading and ending with fireworks and applause, but you're finding that those demos are also where your sales opportunities are going to die, then this could be a really clear indication that what you're missing is this sales accelerator. You're missing this prospect partnering system. And so this assessment will help you identify exactly what you need to do and how big that gap is for you. Because if you can get this dialed in, then that's going to help you keep the momentum. It's going to help you keep control. It's going to help you convert more deals, grow your business, and ultimately build and scale to make the impact that you want to make. All right, I think that's it for now. That's today's LinkedIn Live. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions, let me know. And if you want to copy that training, just type the word accelerate down in the comments and we'll get that flicked over to you. All right, that's it for now. Scott Sambucci over at Sales Qualia, signing off.